Peace, peace, peace. It's your guy Libs back with another video. Now, don't let the title fool you, because I know I was taught, like most of us, not to say that you're broke, right? But before I was taught not to say I'm broke, I considered myself broke. So in this video, I'm going to refer to myself as broke because I'm going to take you back, right? In the beginning, back when I was younger, back when I was younger, I didn't have like a big brother. I'm my mother's oldest boy, right? So I didn't have a big brother. You know how big brothers like give you hand-me-downs and look out for you and just give you, their old. Pardon me. You know how big brothers could give you like the old sneakers, and if they're fashionable, you wearing your big brother's clothes, so you're never really looking bummy because you got the best hand-me-downs and stuff like that. So I didn't have that coming up because I'm my mother's oldest boy, and my cousins some of them used to be like fortunate enough to get the things that they want for Christmas, and birthdays was always special. But for me, it seemed like that type of stuff wasn't happening for me, right? I just looked at it like I was broke, When Christmas time came, I had a mental Christmas list, but that Christmas list wasn't fulfilled because I was broke. Pardon me, I'm taking the trash out today, trash day. But my Christmas list wasn't fulfilled because I was broke. And so I learned at an early age that if it's anything that I wanted, 9 times out of 10, I was gonna have to get it myself, right? So when I was young, I used to steal. I used to steal a lot, steal from stores. I would steal out of people's cars. You know how people leave all that money in their cars and stuff? I would do that. Steal out of you. If you leave your window down or your door unlocked, if you had some change or some money in there, it was getting stolen. It was getting stolen by me. If you had anything of value in there, back in them days when I was a kid, I done got a Walkmans. Remember them Walkmans? All type of stuff, anything, that's valuable. I was stealing it. And after I learned my lesson from that, by getting caught by the cops, and by getting caught by some of the people who own those cars that I was trying to steal out of, I learned a lesson from that. I said, we ain't gonna be able to do it like this, bro. So any opportunity that I could think of to get some money, I was trying to get some money. So if it was snow on the ground, growing up in New Jersey, I was shoveling snow. You know what I'm saying? I would wake up early in the morning, grab a shovel, and hit the road. You know what I'm saying? I would come back later on in the evening with what I call a pocket full of money. This is at like 12, 13 14, you know what I'm saying? Up until the time where I could actually work my first job. If it was some snow on the ground, I was getting to it. If it was some leaves that needed to be raked up, I was getting to that. You know what I'm saying? Boy, I done did it all, man. Collected cans. You ever collect cans? How many adults watching this video actually collected cans? You know what I mean? I did that. I used to collect big bags of cans, walk around in the hood looking for cans, actually cleaning up the neighborhood because the cans was valuable to me. You know what I'm saying? So I forgot how much they was paying per pound for the cans, but I always had like 1 or 2 bags, sometimes maybe 3, and they was valuable. So I walked around collecting cans. I'm doing favors for people, like, you know, to get money. And my mom had a friend who was a what you call this type of people? He's he hauled scraps like a junker. We roll around in his truck picking up things like refrigerators, air conditioners. Get back, Nino. It's my boy Nino. Air conditioners, mufflers, you name it. If it was on the side of the road and it was a metal or some copper, we was getting it. So I did that with my mom's friend to earn some money as a kid. It wasn't much. Maybe I might make $20 for helping out. You know what I'm saying? It was worth the trip, and he could use the extra hand. So that was the way I was getting money. All this comes from being broke, because I didn't have no allowance. You know, a lot of kids, they got allowances and stuff. And if you keep your room clean, you get, you know, an allowance. You keep the house clean, at the end of the week, you get an allowance. That was unheard of in my world, right? So I had to do things like what I just mentioned to get money. And it grew me, you know. A lot of times I felt like it was regular. It became normal to me, you know what I'm saying? To do these type of things. And I didn't have any pride. It was no shame in my game if it was $1 involved. I was always happy to earn $1. A lot of my peers were getting into things at these ages, like selling drugs, maybe some weed, crack, you know. I didn't really want to get into those things to get money because I was always afraid. I was always afraid that I was going to get caught and get into a whole lot of trouble. So I wasn't really into that, right? If I ever tried to do that, that happened when I was older and a lot smarter. But a lot of my peers was already in it, and they was doing things to get money and having all the newest, flyest sneakers and the clothes. A lot of that stuff mattered to me as a kid coming up, as a teenager, a young teenager coming up. A lot of that stuff was important to me, and it kind of messed with my self-esteem when I wasn't able to get these things, but I was seeing a lot of my peers that could. So all I knew how to do was try. So collecting them cans, shoveling that snow, working with my mom's friend with the scrap metal. These were the type of things that I did. That was me trying to get some money. You know what I'm saying? And I've got accustomed to just not having all of the fly stuff that I wanted, that I see my peers getting passed down from their big brothers and cousins and stuff like that. And so I was in a foster home for about 8 years. When it was time to start school, we always wanted the flyest sneakers out, you know what I mean? But we had an allowance for sneakers. My allowance was about $50. And it's not a whole lot of updated sneakers you can get with $50. So my foster mother would say, look, if what you want costs more than $50, then you got a $50 head start. And I would have to come up with the rest. Um, I had a paper route. I was delivering newspapers. You know what I'm saying? Getting up in the morning, putting them newspapers together on the porch every morning. One time, when I got tired of doing that, I ran off with the money because I had to collect the money too. I had to go around knocking on people's doors, getting the money for the newspapers, and then I kept the money when I got tired of doing it. Um, Hell, man, it was just it was a hustle childhood for me. Like anything I wanted, there was no one for me to ask really. Like I had to hustle for it or not have it. Just as simple as that. It was not too many gifts, not too much privilege, or like I said, I came up doing chores, but we didn't get paid for it. We didn't get an allowance. So that kind of groomed me that to be how I am now. Growing up past that age, uh, getting my first jobs, uh, working at McDonald's. I believe McDonald's was my first real job that wasn't a summer job. I had a few summer jobs, and when that money was coming in, I was not living on my own yet. So that was a lot of money. That was a lot of money. That groomed me to see what real money feels like, right? And but when I start getting on my own, I realized that that money wasn't enough. And I'm still kind of living like I did when I was a child, but I'm just older now. Like I done lived in rooming houses where I pay $100 every week. I'm living with strangers. I'm sharing a bathroom with prostitutes, crackheads. I'm living in the same house as them. But I got somewhere to live, so I'm feeling really grateful and thankful for this room and house because there's nothing like when you have nowhere to go at all and you get a room, you just learn to appreciate it. And I would go on vacations on my job, right? Every year, you get like 5 days of vacation. People would see me out on the street and be like, hey, Lib, you ain't got to work today? And I'd be like, nah, man, I'm on vacation. You see, I never really went anywhere. I never really went anywhere on my vacations. My vacations always consisted of I just don't have to go to work for 5 days. So I'm going to sit home. I'm going to get high. I'm going to smoke me some weed all week because I'm on vacation. I worked for this. I earned it. And that was normal to me. I didn't even fathom in my mind that I could actually travel somewhere and enjoy myself. That never crossed my mind because if I would have let something like that cross my mind, then I would have to think about how you gonna pay for all of this. And I was always broke. I was always struggling, like living check to check. So there was no way I could go on a vacation, my vacation is just chilling. And that became the norm for me for years, you know? And it took a long time for me to break the spirit of just getting by, even though I'm still kind of just getting by today, but it feels different. The mentality is different. See, back then, I believe I used to feel like this type of stuff ain't gonna happen for me. Like, I'm not gonna get that dope car. I'm not gonna wear them fashionable clothes, and I just counted myself out. And as I got older and older, I feel like I could actually have these things that I couldn't get when I was younger. So now I just, I already built a strong work ethic from all the things that I was doing in my childhood. So I'm able to keep a job. I'm the type of person who now would keep a job for the smallest amount of time I could remember keeping a job was 1 year, and that was because I got fired. But every job before that, it was what, 13 years, 5 years. The job I'm on now, I've been here 10 years. Like, I don't have that many jobs under my wing. I stay on jobs for a long time, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of built this work ethic from all that hustling and working coming up as a kid. And so as I grow older and become better at saving money and making money, I start to fulfill some of the things that I couldn't fulfill when I was young. Like, I would go, like, I'm to be honest with you, I didn't even buy my first pair of Jordans until I was like a grown man. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people had that in their teens and early 20s. And when I say had it, I don't mean someone bought it for you. I mean you bought it for yourself. A lot of people was doing that in their teens and 20s. Like, I didn't even buy that for myself until I was in my 40s. Never bought a pair of Jordans. Now I have several pair because these are things that I wanted in my childhood. Um, but as I was getting older, I realized that I can't really afford to spend the money on that because I need money for more important things, right? So now in my 40s, I got a few pair of Jordans. I bought a few chains, jewelry, rings, things like that, right? And I just feel like I can't stop grinding. Ever since a kid, it's like I can't stop grinding. I don't know how I continue to do the things that I do. Like, some people ask me, yo, you don't need a break. Like, I be working like a week ago, I worked 78 hours in 1 week on my job. And I told my daughter that that was insane. And she said it's common. I said, that's not common. The average person works 40 hours a week. She said it's common for people to go hard like that and work 78 hours in 1 week. Well, I told her, there's only a few people on my job that would do that. And I asked her, does she know anybody personally that does that besides me? And she said, no, but it's common. I said, no, it's not common. I said, why don't you name, is there anyone in your family, on, on your mother's side of the family, that you know that does things like that? And she couldn't name any. So I said, well, there are something that's common it's something that a lot of people do. It shouldn't be that hard for you to name me one person that's doing things like that. And I don't know. It's to me it's not common, but it's becoming the norm for me. Just like every time it snow, I gotta go get my shovel. Just like when the leaves fall, I gotta go get my rake. It's like when somebody offer me some overtime, I can't say no. And the reason I can't say no is because I'm not rich. And it's a possibility that I could go back to being broke. And to some people, where I'm at in life right now, they would consider broke. Like someone who has a lot more savings than me, someone who has investments, more investments than me, someone whose house is more square feet than mine, whose car probably costs 2 to 3 times the amount that mine's cost, they would probably look at me as I'm broke, right? But me, I think about where I came from, and I think about where I am now, and sometimes I think, am I even supposed to be here? Like, how did you get here? How did you get to where you are now? And the truth is, it come from grinding. And I never used to pat myself on the back or give myself credit for that. But it's true. It come from grinding. I can't stop because I'm afraid that I might go broke again and times will get hard again and I might have to, you know, ask people to help me out. And I used to, man, it used to be so hard for me that I used to have to swallow my pride and ask people for favors. Like one time I asked my boy, could I sleep at his crib because I didn't have nowhere to sleep. And I slept on his dining room floor. Him and my other boy, homeboy, they had a house, but it wasn't like fully furnished. Like we all young. Like back then, you know, man, like you could have a house and they ain't really got no furniture in it yet and stuff like that, right? So I slept on a hardwood floor and I used my winter coat as my blanket. And I had to like ask him, can I live there? I mean, can I stay there that night? It's just the feeling of having to go through things like that, right? And I don't know, man. If I didn't swallow my pride and ask, I don't know where I would have slept that night. I just don't want to go back to that type of lifestyle, man, where your family looking down on you because you're asking for too much. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody will let you stay, but after a couple days or a week, you gotta go, and you don't really have your stuff together. Um, I'm just afraid to be out there like that, man. I know I'm still in the struggle because I'm still working and busting my behind. That's in the struggle. The struggle is just different now, and I don't want to go back to that, man. And I'll continue this lifestyle even though I know it ain't gonna make me rich. And if I stop going hard the way I'm going, it ain't gonna make me poor. But the truth is I can't stop. I'm in a position now where I could actually go on a vacation. I could actually enjoy myself. And it took 40 years for me to feel this. It took 40 years for me to see the fruits of my labor and I'm really thankful for it. And I never really appreciated myself um, and what I'm doing. It's crazy. It's still crazy to me. It's not normal. But I feel like if I don't bust my ass, then I ain't gonna have nothing. And before I leave this earth, I gotta get something. And I just wanted to make this video, and that's why I call it Being Broke Made Me Like This. I don't even wanna associate myself with people that's not like me. I don't wanna put myself in an environment that could put me in a jam and mess up what I got going on. You know, uh, this little life of mine's. I'm not content. I'm always striving. I'm always thinking of a hustle, of how to get a couple dollars. And I'm not starving, but I'm not rich. And even though it's not meant for everybody to be rich, there's something in my mind that won't let me stop trying. And I know that the things that I'm doing, it's probably not going to get me rich. Most definitely, not probably, but it's most definitely not going to get me rich. But it's going to get me more money. And I can't stop. And there's people who try to convince me to stop, and I don't listen to them. Like, how can you convince me to stop doing what I'm doing and then ask me, can I help you out? It just doesn't make any sense. Like, and I know it don't make sense, and I know that everybody doesn't have the drive um, to do all the type of things that I try to do. Most of it is because I don't really have a whole lot going on, so I got time. If I'm not at work, I got time to make a couple dollars. That's how I look at things. I got time to hustle. And I know as long as I stay like that, then I'm gonna be all right. And I don't know. I think I'm gonna be this way until my last day. Uh, Being broke made me like this. Being put out the house and not having nowhere to go by women made me like this. Just I don't know. Being at the I don't know, man, just like I said, not being able to enjoy life made me like this. All I want to do now is enjoy life for the rest of my days. I want to have a great time and enjoy the rest of my days. So I'm more happy nowadays than I ever been. I'm more uh, spontaneous more now than I ever been. I'm the type of guy who never used to want to do nothing. And it's because I don't want to spend. If I spend, then I'm going to have to hustle harder to get it back. And I'm kind of the same way now, but I will sacrifice so that I can enjoy life. And I think that's really important. If it's anybody out there that could understand this type of lifestyle, like coming up not having much and doing the things. I know what is common, shoveling snow and raking those leaves and mowing them lawns, things like that for the money when you're young. That is pretty common. but there was only a chosen few of people that was actually doing it, you know. And I think if you came up like that, especially collecting cans, I feel like you have a gift, and that gift is the hustle, you know. That gift is to always want to be at the top of your game. Um, I think if you come from that same type of struggle, and everybody has their version of the struggle, I think you should look in the mirror and be proud of yourself, pat yourself on the back, and say, being broke made me like this. Peace.